Collective energy reading. Please only take what resonates. Always leave the rest for the best. Don't stress. Thanks for coming back. If you're here, there's a message for you, because there's illusions that you'll be seeing. You're just getting social awareness of these about certain people. You could have been detached from your emotions. You're gaining understanding about this rebound because you're getting high clarity, higher awareness. Take this all as it resonates. You could have to go to court and justice could be needing to get prevailed, because that's when you was rebelling and you're seeing and you're gaining that progress, having this freedom. It's causing a lot of pain, stress, and that's when you have to look, because it's apprehension. You're afraid because you're cautious because of that Cupid and the illusions. Through that Cupid you have this recollection now, because that's you having that self-doubt, having to hold this hope when you didn't have these boundaries or speaking that truth. And that's when you have to know, because that's when you have to look within inside of yourself. And when you was escaping, what was you escaping from? Was you looking at those traditions? Have you got strength? And is that willpower to have that hope to transform, to change, to grow? You could have a stalker lurking and watching and blocking. They could have been trying to block you because of the stories, and they're obsessed to know what you're doing, how you're growing. You could have blocked them. This could have been a fire sign. Could have been controlling, stubborn. You could have to protect yourself from them. You're gaining wisdom. They're gaining wisdom. Five of Pentacles. They could be feeling left out in the cold, hardship, past due, got bills, and just trying to find a way to make a way, because they're saying and they're feeling, oh my gosh, it's a part of destiny. They could be seeing and seeing you and just promoting and moving along that karmic cycle, going towards that sudden change. You're growing, you're moving. They're having stress and conflict within their mind. That's because it was in a childlike spirit. That's when you're not looking about who you're creating with and what you're creating with, and then it starts stressing you, and you have to start looking and gaining wisdom. And that's got a social awareness of you. So you're on social networks, when you're on screens posting pictures, and they're having this self-doubt because the way they was moving, they're gaining that higher clarity in regards to who you are now, and seeing the illusions which causing them pain within their self. That's looking at their mind now, their body. That's the circulation, the spine, the eyes, giving them blood pressure. Take it all as it resonates, because and say they was not promoting that highest level. So it's that part where you better know. So let's burn down them evil concepts. That's when you have to burn them down. It causes stress and pain, those illusions. Because when people are saying these things and it's destruction for humanity, and you have to know. So where I say, you better know where you are though. Because when you don't want to be able to move forward, you better watch what you're on with, because that's when you're putting things out. You're going to get it back, because it's Jaja City, Jaja Town. Them I want run round like some cowboys. You have to know what you're doing, because when they're in the dead man town, yeah, you have to know. Because all those jankers, they're going to be drawn to those coffins, because it's happy-go-lucky, trigger happy new now, because they're having sadness, because they're in that madness. Jaja City, Jaja Town, get up, I'm in a rule by town now. So now they're in their mind, having stress, conflict, because they're gaining higher clarity and wisdom. Take it all as it resonates. We're clearing this energy in the air. 1, 2, 3, turn it down. Someone could be finding it hard to embrace that unknown, because those emotions, when you gain that higher clarity, you start listening and you're thinking, did I hear that spiritual guide talking to me, or was I going crazy? It's like going back to when I was a child, and it's that same kind of feeling. It's awakening from illusions, confusions, when you know that you was in a bubble and you was avoiding that trap of mistaken fantasy for that true soul connection, because that's past hurt, pain, when you wasn't giving and you didn't have clarity, high awareness, trusting your gut feelings because of your values. Now they're gaining this wisdom, because in God's hand. My trust is in that implicit God's greater knowing, and that's that greater love of guide your heart. That's when you connect in, you got that doubt, but you have to know about these brave boundaries. You have to be brave. Listen to your spirit within you, because it's a part of that life force. I am, the way I'm serving and I'm creating wisdom. Is people causing you conflict? Is it stress? Or you're growing with that evolution? And that's when you're speaking that truth, because that's that love within inside of your heart. It ricochets mind, heart, body, from the bottom to the top. It ricochets right back to that heart in that awakeness, because that's that faith. It's steady. and you remain true with your light, and everything unfolds accordingly to God's will. So you're making things filled because it's that wisdom, embarking that spirit within inside of you, and that's looking at that vitality, love, joy, peace, prosperity, and that's being that light to be able to accept that divine energy all within your body, because every day and every cell, that's regenerating thoughts, feelings and emotions, going towards those new beginnings, new mindset, evolving, growing, inner standing. That's you stepping in, and you're being brave, you're being courageous. Yeah, you have to control those emotions and those feelings. That's when you have to continuously gain in higher clarity and wisdom. Don't be stuck in that spiritual, emotional, mental capacity. Grow and gain physical, psychological, taking it all financial and personal, that interconnectedness with the divine, higher clarity, getting oneness. How do I feel and what do I want and what do I need? Because that's you taking that positive action to stay focused. That's standing in your beauty, giving your nurturing balance in your feelings, those thoughts. Find that silence to go deep within. Question the things that are unknown, and it triggers those trigger moments. And to be able to honour it, let it go, release it in that present and now. And that's the things that you cannot change. That's when you ask God to grant me serenity, to accept things I cannot change. That serenity prayer. Everybody needs to know the serenity prayer, because when you've got that serenity, that's when you're oneness, you get that grace, and that's that beauty within you. That seventh chakra, crown chakra activated, listening to the spirit within. Because those illusions cause confusions. Those confusions can bring those temptations, and temptations come through the communication. And how have you got that information? Take this all as it resonates, because you're seeing that God, it's in God's hands, because God has plans for you. And don't be wasting it. Plans be chasing what don't matter. Arguments, pointless. So anything that's not serving your highest good, if it causes you confusions, it's not making you feel happy, you're feeling sad, it's causing you conflict within your mind, you've got to question, why did that person do that, and why did that person act the way they did, and is it that service that I was providing because I was being faithful, I was being true? They want practical, they want caring, they want nurturing, they want analysing. How was you being creative in those skills, what you was creating? Because we have to look at who you're serving. And that's how you're growing and moving throughout the world. That's taking your chance to be able to gain the opportunity to look at the mysteries to your story, love, family. How are you going to be able to heal? Because then it causes you stress and conflict within your mind, because it's like you're bitter, so you're angry, you're holding on, and it causes anxiety. You can do better. God's north for you. Only need courage. Follow your north. So you know you only needed that courage. That was that balance, duality, harmonizing with yourself. That was you, how you serving, and to be able to redeem your knowledge and that wisdom. That was you looking at the mysteries of your story. Because this old woman, beautiful, told me I was sent to those kids. They done me more than I did for them. Helping kids, it was my duty. So this woman helped you, so you could have been working with young people, children, enabling them to be able to grow, supporting their health, their well-being in a creative way, labeling them to have an inner standing, to overstand, and that's looking at your daily aspects of life, your well-being, your mindset, being creative, staying in that childlike spirit, but practical. They must have been depending on you. You could have been nurturing, caring, a health support worker. Take this all as it resonates, because that's your vitality. With love, you did it with joy. I can feel you, divine masculine. I don't have to see you. So you did it with joy, you did love, and that was compassion. That was when you have that high awareness. You could feel these divine feminines and masculines, because you're spiritually, mentally, emotionally connected to them. 20% more people have heart attacks on a Monday. So 20% of more people that have heart attacks on a Monday. It's just a given thing. It's written down. It's statistics. So you connected to your heart. So on a Monday, they was having clarity and awakening. You connected. You seen about the values with these divine feminines and masculines. Monday's the first day. So that opportunity when they was going towards that new beginning, or when they was in that childlike spirit, gambling, taking risks. Deep down, everyone has potential. It needs faith, that complete trust to be able to get you through. Right, so they didn't have that complete trust in lust, so they was in that lust effect phase. They didn't have that awakening. That was when you got these habits and you're not connecting to those emotions and you're not being realistic, and that's like revealing to healing. And that's when you're gaining that balance, and that's when you're looking, because that's what your mindset's stuck onto, your values, and it stems through childhood, adulthood, and it's your deep, most private spiritual parts where you don't want people to see you, what you lack capacity, emotional wise, and you're not unable to be able to grow, because That's your nurturing qualities. Certain people could see that you've got these nurturing qualities because you as a carer, provider, support, enable people to be able to grow. That compassion, just as a mother does. Take it all as it resonates, because that's when you have to look, when you're mentoring people, to look to grow, and that's when you have to honour and who you're honouring with, because deep down everyone has potential. It needs faith, so you have to have that faith to go to that new beginning, so you're connecting and taking that leap forward. Not just dyslexia, may have anger problems, ADHD, bipolar, autistic. So with these people, not just got dyslexia, they maybe have behavioural problems, anger problems, ADHD, but it's blocked emotions, blocked thoughts. It may be like what you inherited, and how did you go through that? So how are you going to enable yourself to go through these illusions? Because that's what causes this self-doubt, where you're stuck and it causes you stress and you're not able to be able to communicate properly. You haven't got boundaries, and when you're running and back and forth and you're not realising who you're running back and forth with, because that's like when you're still in that childlike spirit and you're not growing. Even though when you're in the adult, you're still having these love affairs and the romance, and it's what you're enjoying. So when you're creating, and now you're creating, how the way are you enjoying it? Because you're growing through that pain. Take it all as it resonates. People see you growing through that pain, because an old woman enabled you to be able to create and go through that pain that was created, that expression, to be able to speak to you. So somebody could have told you to start speaking and grow with, because God's hand and listen, so you could create. I remember Sada Young, Reiki Light, told me to start speaking and expressing my voice, because that was when you was having conflict, and that's about relationships, family and friends, and how are you going to be creative to express yourself on that higher awareness, to be able to keep staying balanced, focused spiritually. So you could have been directed to be able to speak, create social networks and give that awareness to other people. This masculine could be connecting now to their feminine energy, getting this higher awareness, because you connect to your heart, looking at those emotions. There was a feminine at the side of you that was competing because they thought they was being wise and holding on to your masculine. There was a family member, a friend close towards you. You're gaining insight. Take it all as it resonates. You was able to be able to gain insight because you was connected. You trusted your gut feelings. You seen that heart, that emotions, and that was when who you was giving to, who you needed forgiveness from, and that was compassion. Who was you giving this love, this joy, this compassion to? Because that's when you was moving, and it's like your inner peace within you to transform, for you to look at your leadership skills, gain structure, so you got that firm foundations. Take that chance, look at your opportunities. Who was blocking you, stopping you? Who was lying, cheating? Who was enabling you to be able to have that growth? And that was you saying, like, who's being wise? Because that was you having that knowledge, intellect. That was you and that personal power, holding within yourself when you're in that community. People are indecisive and they're making choices because they think they're being charming, like, yeah, did you see that person there like that? And oh yeah, have you looked at that? And when they're determined to take control over other people's minds because of the way how they think, or the way how you're communicating and expressing with higher clarity. That's because you've allowed boundaries in place. You've got that wholeness. You connected to certain people's indecisive, because when you're adventurous and you're not fair-minded and you're speaking bad in regard to certain people because you're not unable to look at it from different reasons and the dynamics as to why that person lied and why the Most High bestowed gifts on the people and how that person got through heartache, hurt and pain and wasn't able to be able to grow. And you're looking at these significant others and who affected that emotion towards you to grow, because 20% of more people have heart attacks on a Monday. They're connected to that vitality, that light, because that's that growth and that pain and it's stress and it's heartache, and that's when you grow. And you could see a feminine, masculine energy, spiritual awareness. 1, blockage, stress, conflict, physical, psychological pain within the mind, heart, body and soul. That's where those things happen. So they could be having this awakening. They're getting connected now. Higher awareness in regards to who you are, they are. That's that 4. It's a masculine. Family member, a friend was holding on. Their values towards money. Now they're looking that they was in that ego, being courageous, holding on, trying to secure and speaking. They were speaking, trying to secure your masculine, having extra energies. Take it all as it resonates. That could have been a family member, a friend, or due to the fact that the way you had a social awareness. They could have been out partying, socializing, trying to hold on, because that was like, your comforts and stabilities. They could have been holding on to comforts and stabilities. That's because that was self-doubt and hope. No, don't take, because now they could be looking towards you and planning that destiny, because it's not just dyslexia. They may have anger problems, ADHD, so they was not, when they was being that fool, not in having that clarity of mind. So basically I should have took it. So dyslexic, ADHD, because they can see now they're offended and they're enlightened, because that's connecting to the heart. So basically they was their stability. They wasn't connecting to they wasn't honouring their own thoughts and feelings. They was too indecisive. That's because the pressures and stubborn, blocked of their emotions. So they blocked their heart. They didn't want to grow and have that high awareness because they was indecisive with their lovers and the choices that they was making, or because they was like flight and detached from their own emotions and thoughts, which caused stress and conflict because they wasn't listening to their gut feelings and they wasn't secure within their self-worth and like their self-acceptance. This feminine didn't have no self-worth and no self-acceptance, so they was clinging on, using extra energies, try to possess your partner for money, to be able to work or try to create a business. Take it all as it resonates. 21, asking and telling. So they was asking and telling, so you be asking and telling. They could have been like stubborn. You was telling and using your intuitions, enabling people to be able to grow. Use those hidden skills within inside of you. Don't be courageous. Who's being stubborn and depending on you for money? Is it because you, in your ego, when you people are directly asking and directly speaking bad about you because they're thinking that they're being wise? Aries, Taurus, Gemini, Cancer. 7, you got Libra. Take it all as it resonates. Because when they're looking back towards you and they didn't have that higher awareness, spiritual knowledge, they may need to be able to find some money to be able to travel towards you or take somebody to court. They may have to go to court. You may be seeking more information, more validation, because about these family members and friends and what they was trying to possess and who they was possessing with, because it was deep, emotional, and its core, it's spiritual. They didn't have that connection like you did to the divine. You trusted your gut feelings, listen to the spiritual guides within CRDU. There was illusions and confusions because you was thinking and they're feeling and acting with love. Now these divine feminines and masculines, you thought and you felt and you acted with love, and now they're in their mind because they're conflicted, because they're acting and feeling love, and now someone was putting magic and spell work to be able to block you speaking wise. That could have been a family member or a friend in their community. That's because they was indecisive, depending on them baby doing spell work, acting like there was a high priestess, like they had high awareness. They wasn't using their intuitions. They was like that moon concept with like you illusions. That could have been even a mother, a father, a parent that was not looking to put someone in their inner world. That was like that karmic subconscious foundation, that where you've had it from your psychic blocking your mind, so you weren't connecting because it was karma from family. And it's like nurturing that inner child. It's connecting to that past sense. And that's looking at your home and your private life and that family. It's history with genetic inheritances. And it's nourishing. You have to look at that personal side because it belongs to like your dad and your father, or even like that equivalent. And it makes that sense because like that's your mum because of that 4th house and it's ruling over that. So like the way you're thinking, speaking, communicate, you learned. How did you get programmed? Because each and every one of us was programmed from a child. But so when you're in that childlike spirit, you're able to grow and communicate effectively. But some people wasn't able to express their emotions. Maybe they were shut down from expressing their emotions. Maybe they had to stand strong and act like flatly detached because the way how you're speaking and you understand the words, and you're working with these neighbours and the people's in your neighbourhood, and it's like the way where you travel and how you found that information. And it's like when you're driving or who you're driving with, so that certain people could have been driving and needed to travel. This feminine was needing help and they was trying to use their skills right, thought they was being courageous around this masculine depending on money. Take this all as it resonates, guys, because that's about partners. 7, sexual energies. 2, 3, Taurus. 7, a feminine high priestess. They may be looking at you and calling you, oh my gosh, you're my high priestess. Now I'm getting eye clarity. What have I done because of these illusions? It may look confusing, but it's not. So it may look confusing because it's conflict of peace now, but it's not. They was useless facts. So it's confusing. These people was lying on you. They was lying and saying you was chatting crap and you was trying to possess certain things, or you was holding on and about your security, the way how you're moving, like you're not got no leadership skills and you got not no high clarity, and you was trying to control, and the way how you was travelling and blocking you from travelling. Got complete trust, more than that. So they can see they've got complete trust. More than that, they've looked into their inner self now. They're getting that inner wisdom that's looking like I am and what I've got. And yeah, you've got more complete trust because you know you're loyal, you're caring, you're wise, you're moving forward. You're not indecisive about choices that you're making. You move with that fairness. You deal with justice. Because it makes thinking you're easier. So these people think, oh, I thought that it was easier. They thought it was being direct, courageous. They thought it was naive. These people thought you was naive. Like, oh, you'd love, like, because of love and caring and, like, you ain't got no leadership skills, like, because you got some bad habits, like, you're stuck in your emotions. Like, you didn't have compassion for yourself. Take it all as it resonates, guys. People need to be able to get with the program and know what going out here in these streets. Because it says, he finally come through. What's he doing here? That person, feminine energy, masculine, finally come through. He could be coming towards you. You're saying, what's he doing here? He's going to be asking, telling something. That feminine energy could have gone through to that masculine, and that masculine could have travelled, took action to somebody's house and says, what you doing here? I want a £10,000 or I will shut down. Let me see if I find additional violations. So that could be at a workplace, a business. They could have somebody like a higher authority coming to them, telling them they've got no compassion about a business, about this partnership. It could be a partner who they was working alongside with. Take it all as it resonates, guys, because they're having this pain now. They're seeing these illusions. Things are passed through. They was useful facts. Too many in reverse. They was too useful facts because they're about the conflicts with their mind, with this feminine, with the Gemini and Cancer, because they've seen how people was creative and trying to control. They're getting higher clarity in regards to certain seeds that was planted. They maybe wanted to be able to speak this truth towards you. This King of Pentacles, King of Swords, about this money, who they was working with, and about this leadership and structure. They could be like the King of Pentacles in reverse, how they're losing money. This feminine, who they was working alongside with, socializing, partying, spending their money. You're going to get higher clarity. It was them about the actions, and now they're taking this action. And who was moving forward about a car, and when they was traveling in that car, they could have crashed the car. So you're getting clarity that somebody could have messed up a car, and they was in a family they was traveling for. They got blocked because that was like a possession. That car could have got taken away from them because they didn't have no money. £10,000, or I'll let down to find additional violations. 2 of Wands. Certain people's putting willpower, passion about this money, possession. 2, about who was using the intuition, conflict, about being stubborn, controlling that lover. Right, because it's King of Knight of Pentacles in reverse. I'm getting more. This Page of Swords, so you're gaining clarity. Someone's speaking about this. You could be speaking about it. You listen to the spirits. You're getting this guided message. Could be an earth sign, water sign, air sign. Take it all as it resonates. So you could be speaking about certain people depending upon this money and their values, their mindset when they're having these extra energies with family members and friends. Who was clinging on to who, being wise, socializing, speaking. You're just quick speaking about this, and that's people who you could have went to school with and who was around you from when you was younger. You've got high clarity in regards to this. You're listening because it was divinely guided that way. Certain people now could have stress, art, palpitations, because they're speaking. They may want to be able to speak to you because they need to be able to get grounded now. Because of this Knight of Swords. You're gaining wisdom and it's happening now. Because that's like they're using their intelligence on the chariot. They could be moving about these family members and running away from them. Are those indecisive? Didn't have high clarity. They won't listen to the spirit. They want moving with grace now. All of a sudden they're seeing your grace. They want to come and speak to you about these police and this eye awareness. They may need police. Police may be going towards them. Take it all as it resonates. You may be hearing because about these habits and the things that they was doing in secret. This feminine energy. Lock up. That's why now you're getting Jaja knows. Well, Mr. Jankra, draw that coffin now. Happy get lucky. Trigger happy now. Because there's 2 of Wands, so they're getting stressed now because they're seeing about the action. They could be taken towards that property. They're clearing that pathway, grounding themselves, because that Two of Wands now, they're ready to explore, because they're getting higher clarity, so they're ready to move now with those thoughts and those feelings. You know, when you have to look at your attitude and your approach towards life and connect to your emotions and what do I need and what do I want, because when you start gaining that higher clarity, you have to explore with your thoughts, those feelings, having compassion, because that's when you have to gain strength, higher clarity, higher awareness. So when like Daniel in that lion's den, you have to preserve yourself. That's you looking at that inner peace, your personal power, so you're able to transform, because that's you about the habits, confusions, illusions, those choices, to take that action to be able to grow. You could be empowering them, they could connect into their emotions now, thinking, oh my gosh, just trying to get that stability, money together, because of that devil energy. You may be seeing about this devil energy, because they're asking and telling about this money, what they was holding on to, the mindset, not listening to their spirit, their gut feeling. They had a stalker at the side of them, because of this Page of Pentacles going to speak about the people spending their money, about this feminine energy, this masculine, who they was out socializing, partying with. They thought they was growing and getting quick book. Now they're seeing about the certain people who's trying to block them and stop them. Just let everyone know, explain later, so they're letting everybody know. They're going to explain later about this earth sign, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn. Certain people didn't have no manners, certain people was detached from their emotions. They've got a social awareness. They weren't using their intelligence about how certain people weren't nurturing and who was nurturing and who they love. And now who they was clinging on to and what they was trying to possess. Take this all as it resonates, guys. Because when you have to start analysing and recognising about these people who was trying to block you and stop you and thought they was being wise, or because they thought they was being eccentric because they had a social awareness and you was connected to the divine, you had spiritually connected, emotionally, mentally. My dad was your dad's donor. So their dad could have been their dad's donor, father figure, money, extra. Take it all as it resonates. The compass reminds you to get where you're going, divine compass. So that compass within inside of you, that divine compass 7, connecting to the spirit within inside of you, that's that higher clarity, higher awareness 7. That's your divine compass now. Lets you know where you want to go, because you're steadfast, you're organized. You've got higher clarity of mind, of thoughts, those feelings. That's when you're looking the way I want, and that's what I need, and now I'm seeing who I'm loyal to, connecting to my heart. I'm going to be creative. I've got to protect myself, put on my armor. So if I fall off that bike, I've got to make sure I've got my hand protection. Because that compass reminds you where you're going. You're reading problems at school, need a tutor, or may be held back. So they could say they got held back. This Knight of Wands, they may need it not have had that higher clarity. They didn't have that old social awareness. That's when you got that dyslexia and a little anger problems and your behaviour, because you didn't connect to and look at the psychological aspects and like why and move with a pleasure to be able to honour yourself. So like you wasn't fully enlightened, because that's why they didn't gain that strength. They kept on going on that karmic cycle. That was a challenge. That was because that was a part of their destiny, when you got to keep on going round and you're not looking at the people, places and thinking about who you're with when you're with these people, because that's the part of their life purpose, their public legacy, when they was travelling, who they was working with, who they was creating with, bobbing and weaving and being loyal to, because of their habits and things that they was hiding, and now they're connecting, because that's infinity. When certain people was blocking them, doing spell work on them, illusions and confusions of the mind, now they're connecting to their heart, and it's that infinity they're transforming, because that's regenerating. Mrs. is risking a lot to help you. You understand? So some people is risking a lot. These secrets, a feminine, spell work, higher clarity, to block you, stop you, social awareness. You could be cautious because they was detached from their own feelings. They was grounded. You could be grounded. 10. That's a part of your destiny. You could be moving towards your destiny. That's you just determined to take that chance and move forward, speaking, standing in your power. Mrs. has no experience dealing with someone like you. So that feminine energy didn't have no experience dealing with someone like you who was trying to be able to continuously inflicting magic, spell work, blocking, stopping you, these secrets, illusions. They didn't have no values. They didn't listen to their intuitions. They had things in secret in that box because that was that compass. I own a story. Useless. So that story, what they owned, it was useless. It wasn't real. They didn't really see that change. They didn't change their mind, or because of their ego, or because they didn't lack compassion, or because they was competing against you. Going to sweet 16th party. So they was going to a sweet 16th party because they was on that sweet 16 tower moment now. That's why they're having stress and conflict because of those pains. And their dad was your dad's donor. Or because of their pride, they're letting go of that pride, attraction, sparks, passion, the chemistry. Reverse. Look, this balance, I didn't even ask the question, and that's that compass, because they could have felt abandoned, left out. Or because of their pride, so they're releasing their pride because they feel left out, walked away. You walked away from them. They child pride. They could have said that, like, you didn't. You released that pride. You seen that chemistry. You let go. They had a strong chemistry. Arrogance, ego, stubborn. They could have said you was arrogant, ego, and you was stubborn. That you was too nice. Their ego and pride, they was blocked. They know that you had more love, you had compassion, you was caring, they was indecisive, they was blocked, they was competing against you, they was like judgmental because of your stability and your structures, and you was firm. And now they're feeling abandoned, stress, pain, left out, walked away. Because these two ones going sweet 16th party now, they're having tower moments. Because they're feeling rejected, they're having conflict, and it's clashes. And that's that difference, clashes of thoughts, clashes of feelings. They're feeling distant from you, that separation space. So they're stalking you, watching you, because that's that pride, their pride. They let that pride get in the way. And the chemistry, their dad was the donor. And they've got child services. So you can see dangers of family neglect and abuse, separation. They could be seeing now, they got to be able to see who's a child. They've got a case with that family member and a friend. They could be feeling abandoned now, left out, rejected. They'd be running from them. External infection, spiritually blocked, mentally, emotionally. That's where you got psychological breakdown problems. You have to look at yourself to cause this conflict. Stress because they've had this rejection. Oh, karmic friend. Broke ass karmic friend. So they've rejected this broke ass karmic friend, and they're feeling rejected now because they was holding on for money, trying to bring in third parties, low-key competing with you, kissing ass, looking you up because they're full of fucked up. Meanwhile, you was running away. They was having an impersonator inside of them. So they was running away from that personator because they're going through child services, that danger now, that family reported. We'll just take, because they're seeing that's that wavering, focusing. They was delaying that process because that's the mastery now and that certainty. Honor your craft today, strive for that excellence in what you do. They was honouring, striving to catch a case, blocking them with extra infections, spiritual diseases, rashes, etc. Pum ting. Now they're gaining that certainty because it's visual. Yourself achieving your desires, act with that complete faith, and that's the outcome to transform, because that's you asking the Most High God to grant you serenity, changing, transforming, looking at that shadow aspect to yourself, getting higher clarity, awareness. Look at those choices that you make. That's you have to distance yourself because you have to have that discernment, put boundaries there. That's when you have that higher clarity of mind, compassion, was creative, started speaking about these people that kiss ass, family members and friends. You seen that book, you got that wisdom because you identified these illusions when these people came with confusions, speaking and chatting crap, all because it was a karmic, all because they needed to go back on that cycle and they needed to look at the mysteries to their story. They were spiritually, mentally and emotionally blocked. They inherited sin. Now they're looking at the consequences to their sin. That feminine family member, a friend, because they was unbalanced, emotionless, they had no heart. Look, because their candle, the way how they didn't, was burning candles and doing it with great willpower. They was burning their self, really, because they was burnt. See the soul connection, because they was blocking people's soul connections. They was blocking your soul union. They was enabling you so you couldn't move forward. They wanted to block your union because they was trying to master. They seen you mastering your craft because you was connected to your heart, and that was commitment. They was blocking that union, your commitment. They was mastering because that was love, so you could cherish. That was for you to be able to continue to keep moving forward. They had mental, spiritual blocks within their mind, and that's that commitment. It's an important factor to be able to achieve that successful relationship. You're gaining certainty about these synchronicities. Now they're looking back to these synchronicities now. Family members, friends, the relationship, love, the attraction of love. So they can see, oh my gosh, I'm attracted to you. That's that love. They maybe wanted to be able to come. They're having this wishful thinking because they're having these are things that's hidden. They're seeing these are hidden emotions. Oh, wow. Because they're seeing that loving. They're looking those memories, those synchronicities, those loving memories. There was on a rebound. They rebounded, picked up somebody and put themselves on a rebound quick, if like detached. So the person that they lied with, it was all because of their pride and their ego. They was on a rebound. They just picked up a personator. Now they've got stress, conflict, they've got a case. You've got no filter. They say, oh my gosh, you've got no filter. The way you're speaking about this union and they're blocked. They're feeling stressed because you've got that higher clarity. They was wanting to live this luxury life and block you and stop you. And that was that comfortability of wealth, indulgence and enjoying rewards because you deserve it. So you have still no filter because you see these synchronicities. You release. Now they're releasing, letting go. You release, let go. They was a clout chaser, so they're releasing and letting go of this clout chaser. They was trying to catch a craze. This karmic friend was wanting that luxury lifestyle. They wanted that vitality. Big clout chaser, hater. Let's just take one more. It says, I took care of them just as my own. So they could have took care of that feminine, masculine, feminine child just as their own. I grew up in a home with a father always working. I started hanging around with men that didn't mean me no good. So they were, the father was always working, hung around with men that didn't mean no good. They didn't have no filter, no respect, no dignity, no pride. Yes, it's paid. Can I have confirmation how I'm going to pay this? So they'd be saying, oh my gosh, yeah, that's paid. That bill for that property, can you have confirmation how I'm going to pay this? We've been through this. Notice on the board. Change part of life. So you can say you've been through this. That notice is on that board. Change part of life. You've seen, you've been through it. You've had the notice on the board. You've got your picture on the board. You changed a part of life. You enable people to be able to grow. You've got these memories. It's stuck. That was you. You had to let go of people, choices, places and things to awaken yourself. Release. This ain't no kind of story to tell anybody. So this ain't no kind of story to tell anybody about your friend, your family member, tried to block your masculine, that masculine was blocked and had this child and the feminine energy. Now they've got to go to court because of the actions that they took. And then seeing about holding on and it wasn't theirs. Take it all as it resonates. I don't talk about really bad, but I didn't really have no one else, nothing else. You, the only from I've got. So they didn't need to talk about you to them, but they didn't have nothing else. You was the only family they thought they had. Need a test to see abilities, kind of reading, writing. So they need a dyslexia test to see their abilities, reading, writing, because this clout chaser, their child, your child, take it all as it resonates. They're getting high awareness, seeking information, knowledge. They may need a guru. They may need to be able to speak or to be able to express their emotions because they're not one to be able to express their emotions, to be able to let go, a past heartache, hurt and pain that they've had since childhood. That's when, you know, when you've got that trauma, you're not unable to unite and have that balance because it's about your values. And then you have to look back because that's attractions and who you're attracting to, because that's the mysteries of your story. Was you certain when you was travelling and taking that bridge? Because when you connect the things to the bridge, that's your heart you have to reclaim. And when you have to see those fake friends who catch case in that childlike spirit because make you feel like you're broke because you've got to pay these situations, all comes at a cost, a karmic cost. Gives you that conflict, you feel rejected, abandoned in the spirit, in the mind, all because of pride. That pride can make you have that separation. You separate from the spirit, from your mind, from those thoughts, causes you confusions, and that gives you fear and anxiety, and that's all because of your mindset. So you have to change that mindset because it's like when you institutionalize in your mind, when you're spiritual Christians, oh no, you can't do that, and that's not that, and that don't mean that, and then that's a confusion for you. But then the confusion is not of the Most High, because that's a test when you have to see those tests, because you ask for things and that don't matter. So when you're asking for these things that don't matter, you have to see, why did I need that? And then God shows you. It's like Genie in the lamp, Aladdin. You've got 3 wishes. Which wish are you going to take? Because when you're looking back to those wishes, was that rightful wish? Let's see what letters we got for this. Oh, we're just going to take these. Till, will. You could be hearing about this till and this will that was holding on to inheritances because they didn't want to transform and change. KD, Y. So you could be hearing about a KILL or a will. Or they're coming to tell. Someone could be saying, wow, about this bell. Set the bottom one. One bat, bait. People could put in bait. They could have went on a date. One more. Bass. Someone could be iron. Someone could be done. Board. Load. Key. Could be hearing about these keys. Could be saying bay. AO. You could be lolling. Someone could want to be able to come and book something, look something, tell you something, bell you. You could be saying, wow. You could be saying, oh my days, oh wow. You could be selling you the Big Fools by the time you finish. Take it all as it resonates.